shot up to 30 lucid dreams a month. Previously, I'd have about 8 lucid dreams a month, but then suddenly I started having about 30 lucid dreams a month. And it was then that I realized, boy, lucid dreaming is incredible. There's so much you can do and so much you can discover that people don't realize the value of this.
So have you used that like for career choices or anything that you could apply, you know, during the day as far as advancing your lifestyle, your life?
Oh, yeah, very definitely. You know, the value of lucid dreaming, as I see it, there's kind of 4 major areas where lucid dreaming is a benefit to the lucid dreamer. First, there's the area of personal growth. When you're consciously aware in the subconscious of the dream, you can get in touch with the psyche, and you can access your inner creative muse. I do a radio program on Iowa Public Radio, and I've had a number of people call in who are writers attending the University of Iowa Writers Workshop. And they tell me that when they're writing a novel and they become stuck, oftentimes they'll have a lucid dream where they'll become aware, and then they'll seek out the novel characters from their novel and ask them how the plot should progress or what should happen next in order to make the novel great. And so that's just some of the examples of how people are using lucid dreaming to access that inner muse. The other way that I've used lucid dreaming, and other lucid dreamers have as well, is in emotional healing and also physical healing. A lot of people don't realize this, but when you become consciously aware in the dream state, experienced lucid dreamers have directed healing intent and healing energy upon their own ailments, and frequently they'll wake up and feel much, much, much better. And so when you're consciously aware in the depths of the subconscious, you can use it for emotional and also physical healing. Mm-hmm. Another way that people like myself use lucid dreaming is I realize, much like Naropa did, that it is an avenue for spiritual growth. As you go deeper and deeper into lucid dreaming, you have more and more incredible experiences, and some of them are truly transcendent and profound religious, spiritual moments. And so oftentimes you can't necessarily seek those out, but they often happen when you're consciously aware in the dream state. Mm-hmm. And finally, because I was very curious about this, I decided that in lucid dreaming I would explore and see if I could get unknown information. Could I find out clairvoyant or telepathic information when I was consciously aware in the dream state? Or could I find out future information, precognitive information, while I was consciously aware in the dream state? And so in my book, I have chapters on all of these things, and really think that lucid dreaming is a revolutionary tool to investigate all of these points.
Well, it certainly is a thick book, in terms of what we might consider available in lucid dreaming. Let me ask you this. I mean, I've had a recurring dream, quite a while ago, a number of years ago, and it just kept coming back and coming back and coming back, and I wasn't planning this. It was just a dream, and I don't know whether you would consider that a lucid dream or not, but I felt like I was there in this dream. I mean, of course, right. We never even thought about this being lucid dreaming. Right. But I was going through a very traumatic period in my life at the time, and the dream was that I had fallen into a well, and I was trying to climb the walls of the well to get out, and every time I would get a little further up, there would be dirt kicked in on me at the top, and then I would go back down, and then and this constant going back and forth trying to get out of this well, and I kept saying to myself, I've got to get out of this well, Right. And finally, one day, I think I must have done a lot of work on myself. But one day, I had this dream, the same dream, and I visualized being in the garden. And so finally I was able to climb out of this well, and get over and walk over to the garden and walk through the flowers. And that, to me, was the greatest liberating moment of my
life.
Right,
I can imagine. You know, I would call that a semi-lucid dream, because after all those recurring dreams, that you finally became aware enough to realize that climbing wasn't going to do it. That you had to use your mental powers, your visualization, and see yourself out of that deep well and in the garden where you belong. So congratulations.
Yeah, but it was a dream. I mean, I was very aware that I was in this, I was there. But as I say, I don't know. Probably just dreams are dreams, and lucid dreaming is something special.
Well, you know, it's kind of interesting that oftentimes lucid dreamers compare lucid dreaming to like a light that has one of those controls that you can keep increasing the light to be brighter and brighter.
Right.
So that's why sometimes we do talk about semi-lucid dreams, where we have this sense that this is a dream, but we're not exactly sure enough or fully lucid enough to take advantage of that realization. And so there are gradations to lucid dreaming. But I do want to say one interesting thing about your dream, Elaine, because it's a recurring dream. You know, on some level, it's almost like a recurring nightmare.
That's right.
Of being deep down in a well. And you knew in your life at that time it was a traumatic or a difficult period. But one great thing about lucid dreaming, as I mentioned, was that it is very useful in emotional healing. In fact, currently some psychotherapists use lucid dreaming and lucid dreaming techniques to teach people with recurring nightmares, people who have like post-traumatic stress disorder from having gone through some serious trauma and they're having recurring nightmares all the time. But these psychotherapists teach them how to become consciously aware in the dream state and how to use these techniques to become aware in those recurring nightmares. And normally the great thing is, a lot of people have found this, that once they become consciously aware just one time in a nightmare, they never have that nightmare ever again. And that's probably what happened to you, is that once you visualized yourself in the garden and found yourself there, that you didn't go back to that recurring nightmare.
No, I never did. No, that was
Right.
a liberating moment.
Right.
Sunshine and the flowers, like daisies, you know, are just so wonderful.
Right. So that's the great thing about lucid dreaming. It can also be used for emotional healing, and it's helped numerous people get over post-traumatic stress disorder. In fact, I had one young woman write me, and she had lost a leg in a industrial accident, and she was having these horrible nightmares, this post-traumatic stress disorder, recurring nightmares over and over. But then she walked into a bookstore and saw a book on lucid dreaming, and she began to use lucid dreaming when she would have this nightmare, and she overcame her nightmares, and she really got on top of the depression that had occurred as a result of the accident. And she really credits lucid dreaming with bringing her back to balance, bringing her back to a sense of having some ability to control and direct her life.
Amazing, amazing. Well, I think we're all kind of looking for a way to control our lives. I mean, we're all seem out of control right now. You know? Oh, my goodness. I mean, we're seeing what effect the Internet's having on our lives, you know. I'm sure there's got to be some relationship there that we can apply to lucid dreaming.
Yeah. You know, one of the interesting things about lucid dreaming, there's been some scientific studies about how common it is nowadays in the college-age population. Mm-hmm. And so they've done studies all around the world in various countries just asking college-level psychology students, have you ever had a dream in which you became consciously aware that you were dreaming? And what they're finding is no matter what country you're in, about 57% to 85% of the students answer yes, that they have had at least one experience of becoming consciously aware in the dream state. And I think the value of it is when people read books like mine, Lucid Dreaming, Gateway to the Inner Self, that they see how lucid dreaming can be used to enhance your life,